Hi guys, Matt here. I'm the Programs and Outdoor Activities Manager for Young Bristol, and today I'm going to talk you through a quick pre-ride check that we can do on our mountain bike, on our road bike, just to make sure it's in tip-top condition before we can take it to the road, take it to the trails. And now that we're allowed out for that extended period of exercise, the weather's with us, which is absolutely beautiful. What better way to get out and enjoy the sights of our city than on two wheels? So the check that we're going to carry out is called the M check, and you can figure the M check out from starting at the back, lower part of the bike there. We're going to work our way up eventually to the saddle, and then down the stem, the main stem there, to the crank, and then we're going to work our way up the frame to the handlebars and down to the front wheels. So that's our M check, and as you can see, it basically draws an M. So we start at the back, and we're going to start with the back wheel. Just going to check the wheel over. Firstly, check the tyre to make sure the tyre's in good condition to go out in. Checking the pressure, just a quick squeeze test there, just to see what sort of what pressure we got. Just checking the sidewall, and then we're going to move on to just sort of checking the spokes. Make sure there's no loose spokes there. They're all pretty good. Nice and tight. Just a nice, this is a nice quick check just to go through before your ride and make sure everything's working in tip-top condition. And whilst I'm there, I'm just going to check the alignment, so I'm making sure I've got no buckle, which then would lead on to potentially a loose spoke anyway, so providing none of those are loose, but if they are, it's sort of like a slight wobble. Check the tightness of your main bolt here. And make sure it's sitting properly. Best way to do that is gravity fed, so we can flip the bike upside down and sit it in there nice and tight. So the back here, the quick release on this one is nice and tight. It's nice and firmly in there. Just going to do a quick check of the rotor, the disc rotor. This has got disc brakes, and then I'm going to move on to the rear chain set here. Just checking all the teeth are there. There's nothing bent, and there's nothing out of the ordinary. Everything seems to be working nice and fine. The jockey wheels here are moving quite freely. They're nice and clean, and so nothing is going to clog up the chain and make it jump or anything there. It sort of all moves nice and freely. I'm then going to move up the stem here to the seat post. So after we've checked the seat clamp there, we're going to just double check the saddle. Give it a little wobble. It's nice and tight in there. It's not moving. There's nothing broken on it, which is cool. We're going to make our way down the stem here to the chain set, the front chain set, the crank. We're going to just quickly check the chain. As you can see, this chain is nice and clean. What you don't want to do, you don't want to over oil a chain. So as long as it's nice and clean, which is good, and a little bit of oil in the main parts in the middle there. Nice and clean, running smoothly. Just to check my crank set, it's all nothing wobbling around, which is good, nothing loose. My pedals are running freely, which is cool, and everything runs quite smoothly. What I can also do whilst I'm down here is just click it into the top gear and do a quick chain check. So I've just jumped the chain up there to the outer ring and in sort of a middle ring here. I can just check a chain wear test, and as you can see, it doesn't pull out much there at all, which is really good. It's sort of still got a bit of life in it, this chain. Now if you were to see quite a gap there, then you might want to consider just renewing your chain. After that, we're going to make our way up the frame. I'm just going to check the other side of the pedal whilst I'm here. All running freely, yeah, all good. So as we work our way up the frame, just because it's there, I'm going to check my water bottle holder, make sure that's good to go. I'm then going to come up and check the stem. So just have a quick look here. Everything seemed quite together, quite loose. Just going to try and twist the handlebars. Nothing happens there. which is all good, nice and tight. Just going to check the rubbers on my handles, make sure I've got plenty of grip. My triggers are working as we just checked then when we put the chain up. Free running, brakes feel good. They're not spongy, they're biting quite well, which is nice. They're not closing all the way into the handlebars, which is also good. Also, a good thing to check is not only your brakes levers are working correctly, but the brakes themselves are working correctly. So just sort of spinning the wheels and just double checking that they're biting quite nicely and smoothly. I'm then going to move my way down the front of the bike to just double checking the frame again. So making sure there's no cracks, nothing from my last ride, because we were bouncing across the Lake District the last time I rode this one. So just making sure there's no damage from some of the hills that we were coming down, which is good. It all seems nice. As we did on the rear, I'm going to come down, just check the tyre, make sure the tyre's all good. There's nothing that stands out, no split in the wall there. It's running nice and smoothly. We've not got any buckles in there, so whilst I do that, I'm just going to check the spokes that are all nice and tight, which all seem quite good as suspected. And again, just going to come down and check that quick release bolt at the bottom here. Just check the rotor. Be careful not to contaminate these disc rotors if you do have disc brakes. If you're touching them with your sort of bare skin, it can contaminate the disc in the pad there. So just be careful when you are using them. And the only other thing then is to get this bike down off the rack there and just check out those forks. So we're going to get it down, just test the forks out. And as you can see, these ones are quite stiff, but that could be because of the preload. So you can loosen up that preload. There we go. So these ones do need a bit of an oil. So before I take this one out, I am gonna just oil those up, make sure they're all good to go. So after giving those forks a little bit of TLC, we can see that they're now nice and spongy and working how they should do. And that's why it's always good to do your own check before your pre-ride, just so you can get little things like that done and dusted out of the way. Now after we've done that check, the only thing that makes sense to do now is go for a ride. Stay safe, people, and enjoy the weather.